I'm probably not the kind of manager or the typical general manager. I like being out on the floor. I like being out meeting the people. I'm Mary Fitzgerald. I am the hospital manager and I've been in UHK for the last 24 years. I suppose I've worked my way up through the ranks in UHK. I came to UHK in 1999 as a ward manager for Rathas, which is the orthopaedic ward. Going from the different roles that I've been in, it really gives me, for this role, a huge insight into how the hospital works. I suppose, and I'd been known for saying this, that I am very Kerry. And yes, this role is very impactful in the sense that I want a hospital that, whether it's my mother that comes through the front door, or whether it's Joe from Carsavine or Jack from North Kerry, that they'll get exactly the same treatment as I would like my parents or my family or my brothers or sisters or friends, whoever it is, to be treated. And I think that is what's unique about UHK. I think people see that the hospital is part of the community as opposed to being an institution that's there for you to go to. I suppose the first thing I would have to say to the staff of the hospital is to thank them, because they have rode in behind me as the hospital manager. When I was appointed first, they asked me to write a bio, and it was sent out, officially saying that I was appointed. And I have to say, the amount of emails I got back, the amount of well wishes, all of that, it was actually a bit overwhelming, really. And, I think for me, that was kind of a really positive thing, that people thought, okay, she's in the job, like she's going to try. And I have to say, thank you to everybody, to my own management team, to the staff of the hospital. They have really, really come in and supported me. Yes, it's been difficult. There's been a difficult 18 months to 2 years, and we have to acknowledge that. And it's been very difficult for the staff. And I suppose when we were in the throes of that time, that was my one thing about how this is affecting the staff. There is a different emphasis, I suppose, on work and work-life balance that wouldn't have been there when I started my work life, If you're happy in your life and outside of work, I think that transmits into the workplace. What I would say about UHK, it's a community as opposed to a hospital. I mean, I've worked outside of UHK, I've worked in big hospitals, I've worked abroad. It's totally different here because this is a community. And, I always tell the story, and if my children were here, they would tell this story of like when they were younger and we'd go downtown on a Saturday afternoon or whatever, they'd be saying, Mom, come on, stop talking to people. And they would say, who's that, who's she, who's he? And then they'll say, oh yeah, we know, they work in the hospital. Because inevitably, it is one of the biggest employers in the county. And because of the nature, and I think the people who work here, you do know everybody. You know their circumstances, you know their children's names, you know where their children are at, you know what their husband does, you know about the elderly parents, you know all of that. You'd never get that in a big city hospital. It's just different, I'm probably not the kind of manager or the typical general manager. I like being out on the floor. I like being out meeting the people. To be able to manage a Model 3 hospital like UHK, you need to be visible. You need to be seen out on the floor. Sometimes the challenge is that you have to get the people to believe that you can do what you want to do, and it doesn't necessarily always come down to finance and resources. And I suppose if you were to look at Grow UHK, that's very evident in that plan. Sometimes people don't see their own ability, and you have, as a manager at any level, to kind of maybe guide them and give them a little bit of a push in the right direction. My main area that I worked in as a nurse would be in cancer nursing. Then I came to Kerry because I was marrying a Kerry man, and there wasn't an oncology unit here at the time. I would have always absolutely and utterly loved cancer nursing. And to this day, I just feel it is one of the most worthwhile, rewarding areas that you can work in. In 2018, I decided to set up Cancer Comfort for Chemo Kerry, along again with some staff here in the hospital. There on the committee. We are going to get a permanent oncology unit here where it's at design stage, and I cannot thank that committee enough. But I would always make time, I suppose, for my family. My mother's still alive, thankfully. She's 85. I obviously have to give time to her. And I've loads of friends, and I I'm kind of always out and about, but I think sometimes I'm probably one of those typical people that, you know, I like being busy. You know, I'm not one for sitting around doing nothing, and even, you know, when I'm off, I'm always going. I'm not sure where I'm going sometimes, but I'm always going, but I enjoy it. I think I'd be very bored. I don't know, is that inbred in me from, you know, my parents were workers, you know, I came from a farming background, and like life was about, you know, you worked on the farm, you went to school, you did this, you had your chores, and I don't know, does it come from your childhood and is it inbred in you, you know? What drove me to apply in the end really was, I thought, okay, I'm here 24 years, I know this hospital inside out, I think I can start to turn things around. I know I have good people around me. I know I have a good team coming around me who will help me and support me. And it's not me. We are a team. We're a management team, and it's a wider team across the hospital. And I suppose I really, really wanted to turn things around. Since I've got into the post, you know, a lot of people say to me, "Are you crazy? Why did you take on that job?" And there are days and I do think, oh my God, why did I take on this job? But on the whole, I have to say I enjoy it. I do think we're making strides. I do think we're beginning to turn things around. And I hope that my legacy would be that I leave it in a better place than I found it.